All right, welcome to another edition of Hardheaded. I'm here.
Hey, let's get started. Let's get started. Hey, thanks for that warning.
Yeah, I just go.
Just jump in.
No warning. But I'm here as always with Chet and Troy. Episode 105. 105 episodes
105.
down.
105.
And today on episode 105, we have what's on Chet's mind. We've got our top 3 road trip hacks. And Troy will finish us out with a good word. So let's kick it off. Chet, what do you have on your mind?
Well, I've got a few things on my mind.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Any of you guys ever heard of the NSO group? Probably haven't.
Never.
I can't say that I have.
They were founded in 2010, and they're a cybersecurity firm that's based out of Israel.
Okay.
And they are the inventor of something called the Pegasus project. Does that ring a bell? Pegasus.
I've heard of that.
No.
No?
Have you ever?
No.
That's not what this is about.
Well, you should. It's a fantastic film.
All right, let's take
The
a step
old
back.
one. The old one.
Do you know what always the original?
Right.
You know what malware is?
Yes.
Yes.
What is it?
It's a virus that you get on your computer that
Does something. What does it do?
it
Allows the person that implanted the virus to access things on your device.
right.
Right. So if you remember I know, when I was working back when malware came out, and all the talk is don't click on any links and emails that come from people you don't know. Because if you click on the link, then you start the program for malware. If it is a malware program, you have to engage with the link. You have to say, hey, this is, I'm clicking on it. That activates it. Then the malware goes, and then you created the problem. You created the ability for whoever is trying to do bad things to access the things on your computer. Up until NSO came around, all the malware that was out there involved interaction with the user on the device. Are you with me?
I'm tracking.
Pegasus is a no-click malware, which means people can access your device without you interacting with your device. Just randomly. Now, there's things that they have to do to get this, is like, they can call, like a
Spam call.
Yeah, phone call, a call through Messenger or any of the apps that you have, like a WhatsApp call,
Text message.
Ooh. All of these things. And then all that, that happened. You're like, oh, well, I'd notice if I got a random phone. Well, no, they could actually call you in the middle of the night, and then boom, they have access, and then they go in and delete that they ever called you. So you don't even know that you got that call and they had access to it. So
How does that work? It works if your voicemail picks up?
If there is a connection made. Yeah. So in this case, some voicemail, or there's not a voicemail for Messenger apps. There's the calls can do it. I'm not in to design it. I didn't design it, Troy.
I'm just trying to get
I'm just
facts.
telling you, based on all my research here, they can do it as long as they get to connect to your phone through some method without your interaction. So we're all in trouble with this. But luckily, it's just a cybersecurity firm that created this software. And they market it to who? Who would a cybersecurity firm that can hack phones without you knowing it or interacting with it, who would benefit from that?
The U.S. government.
Any government. Any government, including the U.S. government. One of the things that's really bad about that is typically to surveil somebody, you have to have a warrant. Otherwise, you're violating the Fourth Amendment about illegal search and seizures of one's property or information. In this case, when they launched the Pegasus project, because the U.S. is so concerned with security and the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution,
Air quotes, and concerned.
Pegasus doesn't work with any U.S. number. So the U.S. government can say, we can go out and get this, have no concern that we're spying or have to even get warrants because it's not going to be against any U.S. citizen or anybody that has a U.S. phone number. We're only going to be looking at phone numbers and hacking into devices that are not on U.S. numbers, typically overseas, foreign numbers, those kinds of things, and try to get all this information from this. So all this is still going on, not in the public sphere, right? This is like the software company reaches out to governments. We have this capability. If you'd like it, you can use it, spy on people they wouldn't know. And next thing you know, they're getting money from all over the place. And somebody caught wind of it at some point in time. This company was founded back in 2010, by the way. And a list of 50,000 phone numbers that Pegasus had hacked was released. All different kinds of governments that had released these numbers. And so then you start doing some research on this. And by the way, when they hack a device, if it's a computer, it's just a computer. If it's your phone, it's whatever's on your phone, your apps, your text messages, your pictures, your camera, your microphone, all of it. They have access to every bit of it. And then you think, one of the apps that we use is Signal because it has end-to-end encryption. So if any message is caught halfway in between, nobody could read what it's saying. Doesn't work because they have the end. They have your phone. So end-to-end encryption doesn't help here. It's a good way around end-to-end encryption. But anyway, of those 50,000 phone numbers that were leaked, some reporters got a hold of this list and started going through them. Many of those numbers that have been surveilled were political dissidents for different countries. So somebody that doesn't like the government and they're, hey, let's run against so-and-so and see if we can't get a new political power. Those people are being surveilled. 180 journalists. Why would a government, not ours, this is all the governments here. This 50,000 isn't the U.S. government.
All
this is
the
50,000.
others.
180 journalists. Why would the government surveil journalists?
Because they dig into pertinent information that could be harmful to any government.
We may want to talk about that later.
I watch movies.
The one of them was a prince from Dubai, and it was his wife and daughter. He thought somebody was running around on somebody else. He paid millions of dollars to get this software to be able to hack their phone and find out what they were doing, which is crazy.
Pegasus.
So the boundaries that they put in place is they don't sell this software to anybody but government organizations. A prince would be a government, I guess, in this case. And you can't hack U.S. phone numbers. FBI confirmed that in 2019, they gave NSO $5 million for a Pegasus license. Who was president in 2019?
No. Trump.
Yes.
I almost said Obama.
I was going to wait till somebody answered that question.
I like the long pause there. Yeah.
So-
Making sure Matt's not falling asleep.
Trump was president. Keep that feather in your cap for later. The FBI, they actually testified. Christopher Wray testified when he was asked point blank about Pegasus. He we don't do anything with it. Don't know what you're talking about. Then later it came out that we had actually done that because it took several slices and dices because the FBI hid, the Department of Justice technically hid how they paid for this. Like they didn't want anybody to know they bought it. So they, all of our government accounting and reporting, they actually buried it and put it in a way that it did not look like it was a journal entry for going and buying anything from the NSO group. So they were trying to keep from people knowing that they even had the capability. When they got found out, they said, hey, we're just doing this to keep up on tradecraft. Like we only bought a license to this.
Wait, so who bought a license to it?
The Department of Justice for the FBI.
For the FBI in 2019.
Yes.
I see where you're going with this.
So
I think I do.
I don't know. So then this is all found out years later, right?
Well, because the election was in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I'm not going where you think I think I'm going.
Well, it could have gone there. I'll get there.
So anyway, they basically saying, hey, we just need to have access to this crazy new spy software so we can understand what it's all about, not because we want to use it. Well, the in the report that came out is kind of funny. They used a unique financial vehicle to purchase Pegasus. That's what they referred to it as, a financial vehicle. Like, well, we didn't write a check. We did something else to get it.
Bitcoin.
All right. So how do you feel right now knowing the FBI has spy software that can only access out of United States numbers? But it's the U.S. government. It's the U.S. FBI and non-U.S. numbers. Pretty good?
No.
Not good?
I think they can use our numbers too.
Well, you know, the one of the areas that it makes me feel good is that if there's any calls from foreign countries coming in to suspected terrorist cells, like they could get on all that device and find everything out, right? They just know. In fact, one of the ways that they were dealing with communication in 9/11, instead of sending emails, everybody had their password access to the same email account, and they would write a draft email and not send it. And then somebody else would log into that account and read the draft email, because the government at that time was only able to capture messages that were going back and forth. So if you didn't send it, they couldn't access it. They didn't have it. Right? So Pegasus allows the government to get on, any government that pays for it, to get on a device and see what's in the draft folder. Right? So this is another way that you could actually spy on some potential terrorists and criminals that are potential criminals that may cause harm to us. So like, oh, that's a pretty neat software. I do want the FBI to know how that works if they're using it to protect us. And again, foreign numbers, not really focused on U.S. They don't even, it's like a line that, you know, hey, we drew a line here and you can't cross it because I can't spy on Matt. Matt's got a U.S. number. Like, so why are you even bugging me about this? Whoever's looking into it. In comes Phantom, which is 2.0, which is open to U.S. numbers.
There we go.
Yes, this is relatively new.
Pegasus Phantom or just
Phantom?
Phantom.
Yeah, just Phantom. The New York Times, believe it or not, was filing a Freedom of Information request, a FOIA request, with a whole lot of things that were tied to Pegasus, trying to get more information. And they reported just a couple weeks ago, in mid-November, that the FBI had a whole scheme to deploy Phantom to U.S. phones, and any phone that the FBI deemed as a threat to national security. National security. What other articles have we talked about, or instances have the FBI been talking about, or national security concerns recently?
MAGA.
Anybody that supports Trump is one. How about parents that show up at school board meetings to voice displeasure with current practices in our schools? That has been listed by Merrick Garland as a national security threat and should be investigated. Those individuals should be investigated by the FBI. Anything else? Or is that enough?
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty more.
It's enough. I mean, I wasn't for it when it was for foreign people.
Okay. And now that they uncovered, not necessarily that the FBI is using it, but the FBI had a scheme, that's their words, to use it. When this started coming out, initially the request that found out that Pegasus was being involved. This is before the Phantom stuff. The Department of Commerce came out and said, yeah, this is pretty bad press that we're getting here. So we're going to put NSO on our blacklist, which means that no government agencies can do business with NSO. So they publicly came out and said, hey, NSO is blacklisted. We don't have to worry about it anymore. They recognized it in their announcement that this is a tool of oppression that governments can use to stifle dissent. So all the right words, right? Well, we also had Christopher Wray testifying before Congress, and he said that the FBI decided not to use Pegasus, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to test or evaluate potentially deploy similar tools for gaining access to encrypted communications used by criminals. So he's saying, we're not doing that, but we can if we want to. I mean, that's how I interpret that.
It sounds like to me.
Now, the question here is, who does he determine what a criminal is? Because they already consider half of the people in the country a national security threat,
AKA terrorists,
which would be criminal activity. So,
anyone who voted for Trump.
I think the alarming thing for me on all of this is not only do they have the capability, but do you think they have the motive?
The motive?
To spy on anyone.
They've already established that.
Where? I don't believe you, Matt.
Well, January 6th. That's their anything that they don't like, which would be January 6th, which would be even Trump, where the FBI raided his place in Mar-a-Lago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure out the traffic there and see who he's been talking to and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if it's just kind of like the whole Kanye West thing too. If it can happen to, like he said, if it's happening to me with all my money, it can happen to any of you.
So this is a recent thing kind of with Biden, you think?
No, I mean, I think it's been since September 11th. They've kind of been trying to, started with the Patriot Act, which was under Bush, but limiting the rights of people.
Yeah. So I'll give you a specific example of.
I figured you would.
The FBI. Have you guys ever heard of Cheryl Atkinson? You probably haven't because you're both not paying attention to what's going on in the world.
I get my news from you on the Hardheaded podcast.
She is one of the better journalists out there. There's a couple of them, and she.
I think you've shared her. Does she have a YouTube channel out there? Did you share that with me once?
She's got a website that puts videos out, I think, through YouTube. SherylAtkinson.com, and she's got Full Measure, which is her news thing, because nobody wants to pick her up. She was with the CBS News, and in 2010, she broke a story that we all know about, Fast and Furious. You remember Fast and Furious? Not the movie, the stupid movie that won't ever die.
It's a great series.
It's a great movie. I wouldn't say it's a great series, but yeah, where they were selling weapons to the cartel.
Yeah, in hopes that what would happen?
That we'd be able to trace them.
Coming back across the border.
Yeah.
Basically, do you know what we're talking about?
Vaguely.
So the FBI got specific gun stores that are along the border, the southern border, to knowingly sell guns illegally. Like, Troy, you're a gun store owner. Hey, if somebody comes in here and can't provide such and such, it looks like they're a mule for the cartels or whatever, go ahead and sell them guns. And sell them however many they want. And
because they want to track them.
And, well, the theory...
that plan backfire?
The theory is that they would take them back across the border, or they would sell them domestically, and then all these guns would be like, oh, there's more gun violence and we need to ban them. Like that was the whole premise. They were trying to flood the market with guns to bad people so bad things would happen. And in fact, like they killed a border agent with one of these guns that they would not have gotten unless the FBI gave it to them through this method. Like, so this is a big deal. And her reporting on this had very specific details. And we know about all these details from behind the scenes on how the government tried to stop her, because there's a huge lawsuit where she's suing the government. What they found was they hacked her computer, they tapped her phone lines, they installed a fiber optic cable into her phone box, in her cable box, so that they could get everything that was going on through phones and TV in her house. Got her work computer, her personal computer, her phones. Back then it was a BlackBerry. This is, 2010, 2011. Got all of that.
I had one.
I did too. Didn't have a warrant to do all of this. And literally all the email traffic they've gotten through Freedom of Information request and they've gotten through depositions is and data gathering, whatever that's called. We need Broughton to tell us, but all of the information gathering for lawsuits, literal emails in the Department of Justice.
Would that be called discovery?
Discovery, yeah, that's it. Awesome, you're so smart. All the way up to and including our Attorney General at the time, who was.
Oh man,
Troy's not going to get this one.
I didn't know it was going to be a quiz.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, I can picture him.
Eric Holder.
Holder?
Eric Holder. Eric Holder, our Attorney General, literally saying, get everything you can against her because she's making us look bad. Like all this information's accurate and it's hitting the news and it's reflecting poorly on me. And it's reflecting
I'm
poorly
sorry,
on
Mr.
our
Holder.
It's like liar. That's damaging to my case.
The objection. So he was protecting himself and protecting our president. At that time, the president was
Obama.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
Hey. So anyway, this is an active case, and this is something that I think that is pretty sad. The tax dollars that we pay right now are defending the people that illegally tapped her information, spied on her, in only an effort to prevent them from looking bad, prevent the government from looking bad. So one of the crazy things, and there's so much detail in here, and I know I'm boring people already with facts about scary stuff in the future. We all just like to forget about this stuff and think that it's not happening. But through this whole deal, she was having difficulty with everything. Her BlackBerry's not working right. Verizon's not working right. They had the Voice, VOIS, Verizon package for their media or whatever. She's on the phone all the time trying to figure out what's going on. I calling about this, calling about that, calling. Well, it comes across that she's getting one of the conversations that she had with one of her friends when she started complaining about this was like, oh, wonder if all you're having problems just because you're being tapped, you're wiretapped. And the next day, somebody from Verizon calls and says, hey, we noticed that you're having problems with your. She's like, yeah, I've been calling all this time. We want to send somebody out to look at your stuff. And it happened to be New Year's Eve. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's a holiday. You don't worry. No, we're sending somebody out tomorrow on New Year's Day.
Wow.
She's like, it's a holiday. I appreciate your customer service, but we're not okay with you making people work just for this little glitch that's happening, even though I've called and complained a bunch of times. And they said, that's okay. We're still going to send it. She's like, no, don't send anybody. Dude shows up New Year's Day, goes into her house, starts looking through all the stuff, goes out to the box, removes the fiber optic wire that's there, starts going and trying to remove everything that has linkage that she's being tapped. Fortunately, they had taken pictures of everything beforehand just because everything was odd. I don't know what wires are this, trying to go through customer service and all this. But all this happens through this discovery. I'll find out she never talked to Verizon in that case. like the people that called her was the U.S. government, and the person that they sent out there was an agent to cover up their tracks because they knew they were doing illegal stuff. And they're still fighting her in court because they broke the Fourth Amendment. She sued them, and they're like, no, we don't care. One of the other things that she started working on right after this, not too long after this, was Benghazi. So
Rewind. Did the guy, was he like dressed in Verizon stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Verizon truck, everything?
Yeah.
And he's a U.S. government.
She got a name and all this, no record of that person working there. I mean, it's total movie stuff, man.
Yeah.
What's going on? Just so you know, the government that was
insane.
doing that before they had this technology, this hacking firmware, now they're just like, oh, we have the technology to do that at a large scale with everybody in the U.S. And feel safe. That's what's been on my mind. It's crazy.
Hey, when it's business time in the bedroom, you got to make sure you put your phone in your drawer or something, or outside of the bedroom.
They're getting a good show.
Computer too.
I mean,
Look at those little legs go.
Wouldn't it just be audio? I mean, you don't have your phone propped up, do you? It's like,
Well, no, I have that charging thing over there. It sits like this.
Yeah.
It faces kind of towards the bed
and
where it's charging.
this isn't your bed.
I have one just like that at home.
Yeah, I'd not do that anymore, Troy. That's to go charge it somewhere else.
Well, it's not up there when it's business time.
I know too much already about business time.
Who sings that song?
Flight
Flight
of the Conchords.
Yeah, there you go. Bam!
I can't remember who the president was or the attorney general, but
It's
some
like
comedy troupe sings about sex on Wednesdays. I know them.
It's business time.
it's quiz day on Hardheaded.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we're not going to be able to stop it. They're going to do what they want to do.
Wait,
Just how it is.
wait. That's what Chet usually says. You're usually about fighting stuff. What's going on here?
Well, I can't say that because now they're tracking this podcast. So I'm just going to wink.
So I was talking to somebody that's in the know, and they said if the government ever wants to come after you, if you ever suspect the government coming after you, this is the first thing you get rid of. He held up his phone. This is the first thing you get rid of.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like turn it off. He's like, no, destroy it and walk away. Like you're done with devices.
Right.
From that point forward, you're just off of them.
Yeah. I mean, we've known this for since they with Alexa in the house and all, like they could just listen to everything.
Yeah, but we all say that like, oh, ha ha, yeah, funny, ha ha. But no, really, they're doing it. Like it's
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, I believe, I've believed it since I've heard it. Like, why wouldn't they?
So
Have you ever seen Snowden, that movie?
no, but I know about Snowden.
Yeah, one of his jobs they show in the movie when he was working for the U.S. government was sitting there hacking into people's phones and watching stuff, trying to figure out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. And they're doing it for cover up and make themselves look good reasons, not just criminal reasons.
of course.
And because of that, they're criminals. But nothing's going to happen
So
to them. And in fact, they'll use your tax dollars to defend the people that did it.
right,
Sure.
part of it. I mean, is what it is. I'm not really too worried about it. There's nothing I can personally do. So
Okay. All right. Well, that's it.
I'll
That's
tell you
what's
what,
on
though.
my mind.
that next Verizon tech that comes to my house better watch out.
Right.
Who sent you?
I'm calling Verizon and I'm going to get a name check.
That's right. All right, let's go to a top three.
I think we ought to go to commercial break.
Who's hosting this?
Nobody, apparently.
Are you driving traffic to your website? Do you have an engaging homepage? Better yet, does your homepage have a video? We recently created a video for a client about his business and the services they provide. Since he placed the video on the homepage of their website, he has had a number of clients specifically say they decided to use his services because of that video. At Trussell Media, we help businesses create engaging videos to host on their websites, email to clients, and use in their social media marketing. Contact us if you're interested creating a video for your homepage today. TrussellMedia.com. Fill out the form at TrussellMedia.com/contact. Let us help you tell your story through video.
All right, we're back with our top three. Today's top three road hacks.
Road trip hacks.
Road trip hacks. Did I not say that?
You just said road hacks.
Oh, okay. Road trip hacks.
Use pavement.
All right, Troy. What are your top three road trip hacks?
Top three. All right. Number 3, a DVD player. This is coming from a large family. Every road trip that I have taken in the past 6 years, I'll say, has been with a large family, either 4 or 5 kids. So, a DVD player, if you're going on a long road trip, is a must in the vehicle. Number 2, snacks and activities. You got to have snacks for the kids, and you got to have activities for them to do, whether that's tablets charged, make sure they're charged, or highway bingo cards, or
What's highway bingo?
It's a big card, like a big cardboard card.
Bingo card.
Yeah. And
it's got stuff from the road on it, and every time you see one,
yeah. Oh, I saw a railroad. You cover it up.
What happens when you get bingo?
You yell bingo.
That's it?
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Nobody's ever really gotten bingo.
Do they even play? Or are they on their tablets?
They'll play the bingo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have one for every kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't last too long. I mean, they get pretty bored of it. Usually the oldest one plays the longest, and there's some hard stuff on there.
Yeah.
And we play full board bingo.
Oh, you got to block a blackout.
Blackout.
Yeah. I know my bingo. All right. Snacks and activities.
And then number 1, just don't go. Just be okay that you're in a season in your life where road trips are miserable and you don't need to go.
It's the holiday season, though, Troy. You got to go see family.
Long road trips are out.
What's long for your definition?
Like 4 hours is even long.
4 hours is too long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, here's the deal. We went to Missouri over the summer. We actually went twice. 4.5 hour trip. 5 hours. We went camping. It was fun. We had a great time. We can go to Cheney or Marion, one of the lakes around here, and do pretty much the exact same thing from a kid's point of view.
Yeah.
And have just as fun a time.
Okay.
So why? My wife and I talked about this. Like, why do we travel so far?
I want to know why you're traveling so far when you have a brand, Live Local.
Yes.
Why are you going to Missouri lakes when you could be going to local lakes?
I go to we go to local lakes all the time.
Number one, the Missouri lakes don't stain your swimsuit when you get in it like Cheney Lake does.
Lake Afton.
that red clay, man, leaves a mark.
That's right. We visit local lakes very frequently. So, yeah. Yeah, just don't go.
Okay. That's a hack. Just stop doing it.
Yep. I got a couple of honorable mentions from my younger years, but I'll wait until y'all go.
All right. Chet?
All right. Number 3, communicate with the kids in the vehicle ahead of time. Like when your stops are going to be, you're not stopping until such and such a town.
Oh yeah, we do
all
that.
these kinds of things. So you just like, oh, I need to stop. No, we're not. I told you we'll stop, and we'll stop when we get to this town. And part of that planning needs to be, you make that first part of the morning, the first run, the longest. And I mean 4 or 5 hours.
Those are rookie
before
numbers.
You stop.
Rookie numbers.
Oh, with my kids, that's decent. With me, I could go, and we know.
Yeah.
You don't stop until you get gas.
We're on a similar.
Yeah. You only stop for gas, and when you're there, you do everything else you need.
You get your food.
Empty it and fill it. You know, I mean, you empty one thing and you fill two.
Empty
your
one
stomach
tank.
And your gas tank. Then you get back on the road, and you stop for gas in a hotel.
Have you ever peed in a cup driving down the road?
No.
Oh.
I do. I do have one. I got a story about that, man.
I have.
So we're going on this mission trip in college, and there's 90 of us, and they had the big
a charter bus.
Big charter bus, but it was owned by one of the churches. It was an old Tech Athletics bus. It was an old bus, but it wasn't big enough to fit everybody on it. So they needed another bus to drive, but they didn't have any more bus drivers. So they asked me and 2 other guys to get our CDL so we could drive the other church bus. And it was one of those that has the big bus back end, but like the van front end.
Yep.
And we don't know anything other than drive it, follow the big bus. Like, that's it. Like, we don't know roads, direction. It's just follow the big bus. So again, that stops, and it's like we lose them, we're dead. You know, I mean, that's the whole deal. Well, my buddy Gabe, he's like, dude, I got to pee. And I'm like, I got nothing for you, man. And he's like, I like, this is bad. Like, I have to. I was like, dude, we're not stopping. Like, I'm following this bus, and so I'm not leaving them. Like, this is it. And he went back, comes up, and it's like escalates to where he's like, man, I'm in pain. I got to go. I'm like, well, crawl down on the steps right here. Because they had the little wall, the steps to get out. And just kneel down right in there and pee into the bottle. Nobody will know what's going on, and he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, dude, it'll be fine. Sure enough, dude, he gets over there and whips it out. And we had to pass this family that was driving really slow, because we weren't going fast enough to pass anybody, but this one family was going really slow. So he's there peeing. We're on a church bus, got the name on the side of the bus. And that dude, he's kneeling facing out with the little windows in the doors. And he looks up and he's staring at a dude driving his family. Like, look, and he's just standing there peeing in the bottle right there in front of him. Oh, I cried. He's like, oh my gosh. And I just started laughing. It was so funny. Anyway, but no, I've never had to do that while I was driving. Are you talking about when you're driving?
Yeah, I've only done it once, but.
Yeah. Did you miss? Like, that's a risk I'm not willing to take. Just pull over. Like, if it's just you, just pull over on the side of the road.
I don't know. I just kept on going.
Was it a Gatorade bottle?
I don't remember what it was. Yeah, it had, yeah.
We'll just keep moving on to that discussion. All right. Number 2, have games that pull the kids' heads out of their devices, so they're looking up and looking out, and pay money for them. And this is a benefit because they have money to spend when you do stop. Like, this is the budget, basically, because you paid attention and you got money. And the games that I had as a kid, my mom would do this. If you see a purple semi, we'll give you a quarter, like first one. So it's not like everybody gets a quarter. Whoever sees it first, say, oh, purple semi, and they're like, okay, you get a quarter. I do, especially driving out west, and we did a couple road trips out west where you could see antelope, deer, elk, moose, bear, whatever. Like, and I had a scale. So, you saw a whitetail, you're getting a dime. You see some antelope, a group of antelope, not just one, because they're getting some pretty big herds out there. You see elk, I'm going to give you $1. So it's kind of makes your money worth your while. And then if they start like, oh, this is way too much money. If you happen to be on a day that everything's out moving or driving in the evening, then it's like, you have to see it before I see it. So if I see it and I say, oh, and then, nobody can get money off of that. So then your head's on the swivel, making sure you're getting out ahead of it so you don't spend too much money at the gas stations. But license plate game, you get 10 states and we'll give everybody $1, something like that. And then when you get to the store, go to the bathroom or whatever, hey, you only have $1.50. Guess what you can get with that? Not much, but you're not asking me for anything else because you have your own money to go do your thing. Hack number 2. So, number 1, plan, this is kind of an oxymoron, plan impromptu stops ahead of time. So if you're going this specific route and you're like, oh, I noticed that the world's largest ball of sisal twine is in the town that we're going through. I didn't pick that at random. Then you're like, oh, we're going to stop at that. It's like a good distance. We need to get out, stretch our legs, da-da-da-da. And then you're just driving along. You're like, oh, kids, look, the world's largest ball of sisal twine. Let's go check it out, And then they're like, oh, it's exciting, And then you just whip in there and you get out and you look at this big ball of twine that stinks and take pictures and they run around, do whatever. And then you hop back in the truck and go, or the car, whatever you're in. So,
that's a good tip right there. I like that.
Yeah. So it looks like, oh, we're having a whole lot of fun. We're just seeing cool things and stopping. It helps add to the adventure for the kids, but at the same time, it was planned, so it's not like messing with your time. Because if you have it, on your agenda that we were going to stop there, then that's a good deal. And normally, if you could find one of those as like, I'll probably need to get gas around that point, it's not that big a deal to stop a quarter mile from a gas station. Everybody get out, stretch your legs. Hey, hop back in. We're just going to drive down here and get gas, and you can go to the bathroom. They already have their shoes on. Everything's ready to go. So, tip number 1. Hack number 1.
Hack number 1. All right. Number 3. Leave the family at home. That's
it.
That's like the fastest road trip hack right there.
Number 2, not needed.
Nothing else to say here.
So that's number 1 or number 3. Number 2, I do agree. Get your snacks in advance, even the night before, so you're not stopping in the morning. Like I get gas the night before most of the time, so that everything's ready to go, so that in the morning I can just take off and start going towards my destination.
Mm-hmm.
So
get that biggest chunk out of the way.
Yeah, get as far as I possibly can on that tank of gas down the road.
Yeah,
I might be pulling in on fumes somewhere, but that's how far I'm going. Because I know, based on the mileage of my truck, I can get about 550 miles down the road on that one tank. And then...
You know how many I can get mine now?
Probably 600.
7.
7?
700. Now, it's got to be right to get 7, but about 650.
Yeah, when I filled up this last time, I got 600 miles on my fill up.
Yeah, you need to, because the diesel prices.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Kentucky's worse.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I just got back from Kentucky. So these are kind of the road trip hacks that I used on Kentucky. So on my way home...
You didn't take anybody, number 1.
I didn't take anybody. Number 2, I filled up before I left and had everything ready to go, so I didn't have to stop in the morning, just get in the car and go.
Yeah.
And then the number 1, which is one that you two had actually mentioned, is I take a pee bottle, so I do not have to stop to pee. I stick it on cruise, whip it out, pee, put the cap on, and go.
I'm glad you didn't do that when we drove to Montana.
Well, see, but that's my thing. So if I do have company in the truck, then I just don't drink anything.
Yeah.
So I don't have to pee forever.
Right.
But if I'm going by myself, I've got a Sprite or I've got a sweet tea or something like that, and yeah.
Dude, what a way to go. Like if you get in a crash,
well,
and you're like, you know what they're going to say. It ain't that he was peeing is why he crashed.
They can say whatever they want. I'm dead. So no, I stick it on cruise. It's pretty simple. I've done it so many times. I'm basically a pro.
Yeah.
They check his Google search history.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's
we don't need to go down that path.
I mean, it's right here if you want.
Oh,
No, I mean when you were dead, they would check for that after the crash. I do it too, though, man. It's great.
Right now, I'll tell you
Saves
what,
time.
I'll tell you what they would see. They would see all the Christmas presents that I've got opened up on different pages to buy.
for us?
No, for the family. It's all broken down. That's
Okay.
I don't want to say what they are because
They may listen to the
they
podcast.
may listen. So, but yeah, I mean, whether it's I'm pretty talented too. So, like if I forget to pack like a gallon jug or something like that, because it's a little harder.
That's a liability, man. I'm just telling you right now.
No,
Yeah.
truckers do it all the time. That's like one of the rules of the road. I don't know if you've ever been. See, I don't throw mine out on the side of the road, but I don't know if you've ever been driving on the side of the road. You see a bottle of Pepsi, and it's yellow. That's not old Pepsi. That's pee on the side of the road that's been thrown out on the highway. And there's when you get to like a truck stop or something like that, and then you see like a milk jug, and it's yellow. Like
Hadn't been paying that close of attention.
I look everywhere.
Yeah.
It just
You're just trying to find pee bottles.
but
So you feel validated in your behavior?
Hey kids, if you find a pee bottle, it's $5.
that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. But yeah, when I stop at the truck stops, I'll see them like at the rest stops where all the trucks, not the rest stops, but
so basically
the gas
if
stations where all the trucks are lined up to sleep. And
So we're saying people that pee in bottles while they drive also litter a lot.
I would say that there's a good portion of that.
I'll throw mine away in a trash can.
Well, yeah, I'll dump it out and then throw it away when
Dump it out.
when I get to my destination.
That's just like peeing wherever you dumped it out.
Yeah.
Like in the gas station parking lot.
No, not in the gas station parking lot. You know, like typically I dump it out when I get home. So I dump it out in my yard or wherever I stop. I'm dumping my pee out in your driveway or your grass or something like that. You know,
You better have the right pH levels and not kill my fescue.
there's been no dead grasses where I've dumped my pee.
All right. Pee bottle, number one.
But that saved a lot of time
Hey,
because you get
number one. Pee.
it's very rare that I would have to pull over for number 2.
No, you got to put that in a bottle too.
That's not working out.
What's your honorable mentions, Troy?
Oh, a case of beer would have been in my younger years, and a pee bottle. Those were my honorable mention road hacks.
I literally thought you were thinking from my younger years, stuff I learned from my parents. Taking
No,
road trips with them.
no,
And the first thing, case of beer. That's not cool, man.
no.
I think we need to I'm not even going to put that in the show notes. Just cross that out. What did y'all do like when you drove out to Tennessee to see family?
We played cards in the back.
Yeah.
That's how I learned how to play cards. My grandmother taught me how to play cards in the back seat of that huge Oldsmobile we all drove
Yeah.
till its death. Yeah.
All right.
Played games. Oh, we played bingo with my family, the kids. Not like bingo card bingo, but another game called bingo where when you see a yellow car, you yell bingo.
I don't know that one.
We just call slug bug.
You just punch each other.
Yeah. Did that too as a kid.
Chet, you have any?
No.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Troy, why don't you bring us a good word?
All right. Well, the good word today is praise. And I am reading I have this book. It's called The Songs of Jesus. It's a year of daily devotions in the Psalms written by Timothy Keller and his wife, Kathy. I keep it in my car. And
Because you read while you're on long road trips, while you're driving and peeing in a bottle?
No,
Okay.
I don't read while I drive. But
There's no way I would be that distracted.
I watch movies.
that's horrible.
Yeah, beer and movies.
I download movies on my phone.
I take naps.
If I've
Hey, that reminds me of a story. My dad was driving. I don't remember where they were. He and his best friend, Vernon. I think it was Vernon. May have been his other friend. Anyway, they were driving somewhere, and my dad was in the passenger seat, and he was, he nodded off and kind of woke up from a nap, and he looked over, and Vernon was asleep at the wheel. And he immediately just reached over there and shook him real quick. Was like, "Hey, wake up, what are you doing?" He's like, "Ah!" Grabbed the wheel, and he looked over. He's like, "Don't worry about it, Donnie. I sleep on the straightaways, and I wake up for the curves." You gotta be kidding me. That really happened? He's like, "That really happened."
That's funny.
All right. So anyway, this book, the Songs of Jesus, it goes through all of 150 of the Psalms. So he goes over a passage, then he talks about it a little bit, and then he has a prayer to go with it. So it's a really good devotional. I keep it in my car because a lot of times when I get to work, I'm finishing my coffee or something before I come into the building. I'll sit there and read one of these, or have a devotional on audio or whatever. But that's why I keep it in my car. So this one is December 9th. That's today as you're listening. If you listened when it was broadcast or
Released.
Thank you. So we have Psalm 135:13 through 21. Your name, Lord, endures forever. Your renown, Lord, through all generations. For the Lord will vindicate his people and have compassion on his servants. The idols of the nations are silver and gold made by human hands. They have mouths but cannot speak, eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear, nor is there breath in their mouths. Those who make them will be like them, and so will all who trust in them. All you Israelites, praise the Lord. House of Aaron, praise the Lord. House of Levi, praise the Lord. You who fear him, praise the Lord. Praise be to the Lord from Zion, to him who dwells in Jerusalem. Praise the Lord. So after they had the Exodus in Egypt, they made some idols. That's kind of what that reminded me of. And it's talking about idolatry. And idols are things that take you away from worshiping the Lord. So what could be what's some common idolatry today in present time? I mean, people aren't making golden calves. Money. What else?
Fame. Social status.
Could be.
Sports.
Yes. High school football.
Kids. Your kids.
Yeah. So basically, an idol is anything you put above the Lord, right? Anything you worship more than you worship the Lord. So it could be anything. Is that good?
We're with you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. No argument for me.
Yeah, good. I'm just
okay.
Were you waiting for us to disagree?
No, just keeping the conversation open. I know y'all will agree with me.
Yeah.
So praise.
Right now I'm idling hate.
That's not new for you.
Oh.
And
there's a whole movie about hate. Star Wars.
I wouldn't know. Never seen it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you should.
That's an idol.
Yeah. What, Star Wars? No. So anyway, we should praise the Lord and not put anything before him. So the good word of today is praise.
All right. I agree.
Me too.
Just for the record, to be on the record, I agree with that.
I also, to be on the record, agree.
And that's something that it's easy to say, but your behaviors always don't match our words.
Not always.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Troy, for that good word, and Chet for agreeing, and myself for agreeing, and I thank myself. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.